Yo, 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 what's up, peeps? So earlier I promised I would make a video of how to win against Tibalt's trickery when you're playing Tron Walkers. Let's see. This is the last person that I played against in the Mana Trader series who was using the Tibalt's trickery. Not Tibalt's trickery. I keep saying Tibalt's trickery. Tibalt, Cosmic, Impostor. So this is the last person I was using the Valki deck. Typically runs a whole bunch of cascade spells and you could potentially get cascaded on turn 1 or turn 2. If they had Simian Spirit Guide, so doing absolutely crazy broken things there. But both those cards, not both those cards. Simian Spirit Guide is no more RIP, and the cascade thing got fixed by Wizards of the Coast finally. Alright, so here's my opponent, Cairo 4, that I was playing against. And I can say without a doubt, game 1, they absolutely had it. They played their little heart out. And then I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to sideboard and make this as long and miserable for them as possible. So what I decided to do is I literally took all of my artifacts out of my deck. I put them on the sideboard. So anything that could potentially attack and kill me, I took it out of the deck. And so my opponent was left with a whole bunch of planeswalkers that come into play with no usefulness unless they have doubling season. So unless they have the engine that I'm using built, they just don't work. And at the same time, knowing that my opponent plays copies of Commandeer, I just make sure to not play anything of value unless I can get rid of it. So if they steal my card Liberated, I need to play a second card Liberated. So that's kind of how I won the second game. Now this was the third game. And like you guys can see in the chat, opponent is extremely happy with their performance. I mean, extremely happy. Playing their little heart out. But, let me get this thing started right here. I just think it was absolutely hilarious, and Tibalt's trickery will never ever be legal in Modern again. So, I figured now is as good a time as any to go ahead and, make a video about it. Remember this game from now on. Alright, so a couple things going on in this match. Obviously here, I'm just looking for a decent hand to start off with. And like you guys see on the clock, I have 15 minutes left. My opponent only has 5 minutes left. Or 5 minutes and 42 seconds. I think this was actually the second game, but... So yeah, game 1 was a super drawn out, and my opponent was extremely happy and proud of their performance, and this is game number 2. Now they have to figure out how to win in less than 5 minutes. And I sideboarded everything out that could make them win the game extremely quick. And so I just kept the hand here, assembling Tron at a snail's pace, because what's the rush, right? Just going against Tibalt's trickery. As long as you don't cast anything, they have a hard time winning anyways. So, just here dragging this game out. But I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and watch that. I can say that right there. I think my opponent thought they were doing like 1,000 IQ play by bouncing the expedition map back to my hand. But then it was like, oh, well, I have so many cantrips. It's not like I'm going to play anything else anyways, right? So we have all the time on Earth to assemble Tron. And then I know The main thing my opponent cannot get rid of is all his dust. And the reason for that is if they commandeer, it still makes them sacrifice everything, so that's a waste of a spell. So the only option they have is to counter it. Alright, so like you guys see here, he's obviously trying the whole brazen borrower thing to try to get the game over quickly. And here I'm like, oh no, I don't want to have my Ugin stolen, so I'm just gonna go ahead and, play all his dust and have him sacrifice everything. I was just looking at his exile zone there to see what exactly was in there. Also, I was looking for Commandeer, mainly. And if you guys pay attention here, he has 3 cards in hand. And Commandeer, I think, is like a 7-cost card or something ridiculous. Or you have to exile 2 blue cards out of your hand, so those are things I was being very vigilant about. So, throwing bait spell out there. Looking at the sideboard. No, at this point in time, what I want to go get is Walking Ballista because, yes, folks, I did not put it in the main deck. I didn't put it in because I didn't want it to get stolen by my opponent. And there he goes. He hits me with a Commandeer. And now I silently celebrate on the inside because I'm thinking to myself, he doesn't have any more mana to cast Commandeer, and he also does not have spells in hand to exile. So I'm like, oh, sweet, I got it. Alright. So I was wrong in the beginning when I said this was game number 3. This is game number 2. But obviously down there, like you guys see in the chat, my opponent was having the time of their life, living the Tibalt dream to the maximum. Oh, here you guys see me sideboarding a little bit here. I was just going through showing that a little. Alright, I guess I could turn my camera back on. Since I'm here watching this video and just enjoying it so much. I mean, so much. Pretty proud of this video. Pretty proud of it. And I absolutely did nothing to win except just sit there and play Magic. If you consider it playing Magic. But look at my deck. I literally took everything out that was an artifact. Except for Serum Powders, because who steals Serum Powders? So now the opponent has exactly 3 minutes to try to win this game. So let's see how they. I'm gonna turn this camera back off for a minute. So here, the main thing I'm trying to do is I am not trying to give my opponent too much time to think about their plays on my time. I'm pretty much just making all my plays quick because, like you guys know, I play Tron Walkers. The deck has not changed a large amount, so because of that, I pretty much know exactly what plays I need to make to have them go by as smooth as possible. Once again here, just assembling Tron at kind of snail space because what's the rush? We're just chilling here. Our opponent only has 2 minutes and 31 seconds on the clock while we have 13. So there's really no rush for us to do anything. And opponent exiles all his dust from the top of my library, which they're not gonna cast. So they have 2 minutes for them to get some gas out of my deck, and after getting some gas out of my deck, then they could use that to win the game. But I'm not gonna let that happen too easily. I see Ugin the Spirit Dragon there. You know what? We don't need no Ugin though. All we need to do is just slow the opponent down just a little bit more. And then I don't even know what spell that is right now. I want to say Dispute, but I think Dispute you have to play mana. You have to pay mana for it. So it's not Dispute. There again, my opponent tried to exile something from the top of my library and get something good. And he got a whopping doubling season. So he has defense, grid, all his dust, and doubling season. Alright, opponent has 1 minute and 31 seconds left on the clock at this point. And there's the all his dust again. Just cleaning up that field just a little bit. Because there's really no reason for us to have, Valki sitting around just exiling stuff and getting ready to ultimate and cast all the cards in the graveyard. Even though there's nothing of value on my side, but here I just start throwing out all the artifacts. Granted, they are justifying Tron and everything. Alright, so now I know. I'm just doing Tron things here. I guess Tron Walker things. Just put the doubling season out there. Just so that I can go ahead and play it. And, if I get the Ultimate Planeswalkers next turn, that would be amazing. But I think at this point in time, I then thought to myself, I would have 2 Urza's Tower and a Power Plant out. Why make it easier for my opponent when I can just sit here and make it more difficult? So I just didn't cast anything. Now they have 19 seconds on the clock. And I'm just here chilling with my 12 seconds left on the clock. Opponent plays Valki, God of Lies, and they have a Tibalt Cosmic Impostor in play. And I'm just here chilling. Like I have no worry right now. So I'm just fetching lands, going up on lands. And yeah, overall just here chilling. And My opponent obviously here got kind of salty. They were saying, congrats on beating the client. And then they went offline quickly and disconnected. So, alright. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you beat the good Cascade deck. But, RIP, Valki, Cosmic Impostor being casted off Cascade spell. I know it's still going to be around in the format because, you know, it's a very valuable card and everything. I even considered putting it in my Tron Walkers deck. Because it's just really good. And the fact that I could use Karn, Great Creator with Liquid Metal Coating, and make anything into an artifact and then just steal everything, that is OP. Not to mention I have all the mana available to do it, right? So yeah. I'm probably going to put it in my deck, but I am waiting until the prices drop a little bit. I can say one thing for sure though. I won't be salty like my opponent. And I'll actually know how to play my deck efficiently. That way I'm not holding up my opponent's time and causing myself to be in a bind where I have to try to win the game super fast. And like you guys know, I'm never salty. But yeah, I had to upload that video because there will never be another video like this one. Valki, God of Lies, Tibalt Cosmic Impostor. I highly doubt we're going to run into a scenario again where these cards work so well together. Alright peeps, catch y'all on the next video. The next video I'm going to upload is showing you guys what happens when two Tron players basically go God mode. So we're going to have God Hand from Tron Walkers and a God Hand from my opponent who's playing Green Tron. And we will see which one comes out on top. Alright, later.